Two directors talk about Star Wars.
That sounds good.
Yeah. It is a big deal to a lot of people. It affects people in different ways, and this is your story, so.
What I was interested in examining were the Sith. The master-apprentice dynamic. If the apprentice is craving the master's power, then at some point he must recruit his apprentice to overthrow the master. Yeah. And I had to do that with Acolyte for sure. My agreement with myself was whenever it overwhelms you that you're doing your dream. My agreement with myself.
Retarded?
What a time to be a Star Wars fan. In the prequels, Anakin becomes a powerful Force user, corrupted by the dark side. In the originals, Luke learns to use the Force to save the galaxy. And in The Acolyte, space lesbians use the Force to have a baby. I know you've probably heard similar reviews saying the same thing, but my God, is this one of the worst TV shows ever made. It's right up there with the Rings of Power. Not to mention, this episode in particular is extremely boring. It's just a flashback of two twins and their lesbian moms. And oh yes, they do redefine the Force. Now, I'm not a lore expert on Star Wars stuff, but from what I understand, the Force is this mystical kind of energy that flows through living things and kind of holds it all together. And then in the prequels, the idea of the midichlorians were introduced, which were basically these microscopic little life forms that live in your body, and the more of them you have, the more power you have over the Force, or something like that. So I decided I would go to the official Star Wars website, and I got their definition. And I quote, "Force, or the Force, is a mysterious energy field created by life that binds the galaxy together. Harnessing the power of the Force gives the Jedi, the Sith, and others sensitive to the spiritual energy extraordinary abilities such as levitating objects, tricking minds, and seeing things before they happen. While the Force can grant users powerful abilities, it also directs their actions, and it has a will of its own, which both scholars and mystics have spent millennia seeking to understand." So that's the official definition. So how exactly two lesbians use the Force to have a baby? I don't know. I guess your guess is as good as mine, but they did it. Just think about how Star Wars has fallen, guys. It's really kind of sad, isn't it? It's no longer a cultural event filled with fun and excitement that you can get the whole family together for anymore. It's just a pus-filled pimple growing on the side of Disney's reputation. Their ever-growing legion of far-left activists are hell-bent on burning everything good and green in this world to ash. And as we've seen from their point of view, that's kind of the whole point.
When people watch The Hate U Give, what do you want them to walk away with? Because I know everyone has a slightly different feeling.
Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal.
But we're going to go through this gaping vagina of an episode, that way you're not subjected to watch it yourself. But before we get into all that, if you are a fan of my content and would like to help support the channel, then please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the bell icon to be notified whenever my new videos drop. It's completely free, and all you have to do is make a YouTube account, which is also free. I talk about Western media with movies and TV shows, as well as Eastern entertainment like anime, and I do cover a little bit of gaming from time to time as well. I try and post at least once a week, and all of your support in watching my vids really does go a long way, and I really do appreciate it. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into the episode. The episode starts off with a recap of how stupid the last two episodes were. We then see some pretty beautiful mountains with a line of text saying 16 years earlier. This is the lesbian homeworld, and this entire episode is going to be one long recap. So we see Osha sitting underneath this yellow tree. She displays that she can use the Force a little bit by holding this flower bird thingy in place, and then she lets it go. Then May shows up and also uses the Force, but she tries to kill it, with a very evil look on her face, might I add. And then Osha has to yell at her to stop. They walk back through the woods, and then May stops to get her sister to say this rhyme that I'm sure is somehow important, and we'll see it later on in another episode when the two of them reunite, I'm sure. Based off the backwards morality of the people creating this crap, I'd be willing to bet that May is just a misunderstood villain, and in the end, her and her sister are going to team up to stop the big bad, which will probably be a shocking reveal, and it'll be one of their moms or some other chick or something like that. Speaking of their moms, one of them shows up and tells them they're not supposed to be outside, and she takes them back to their fortress, and we see a much younger soul who has been watching them. Back at the lesbian temple, and I'm serious, this is in fact a lesbian paradise. This fortress is huge. It's carved into the side of a mountain, and there's no men in sight, just endless lesbians. The other mom, Mama Juju, shows up.
She's a powerful leader. Yes. In a very woman-centered world.
And we get a scene of the two moms discussing the two girls. Female lesbian Darth Maul thinks that the girls should be raised with a firm hand, and Mama Juju is too lenient. They are also aware that there are Jedi who have landed on their planet, and they hint at the fact that the twins are not normal children. Later on, Mama Juju is teaching the twins and a bunch of other lesbians about the Force, and it's here we see the lore being changed. Mama Juju says, and I quote, "All living things are connected by the same thread, a thread woven through all of existence. Some call it a force and claim to use it, but we know the thread is not a power you wield. Pull the thread, change everything. It ties you to your destiny. It binds you to others." Let's unpack this stupidity for a second, okay? First of all, she's right about the part that the Force is connecting all living things, but then she says, some call it a force and claim to use it. Well, the Jedi and the Sith don't claim to use it. They literally do. And this isn't a time period when the Jedi have gone extinct. Everyone knows about them and what they can do. It would be like telling Michael Jordan in his prime, "Oh, so you claim to be a basketball player." I mean, it's just kind of dumb. Then she says, "We know the thread is not a power you wield." She says this while she's literally wielding the power to move around a small little blue ball thing. Then, in the next scene, she wields the same power to force push a couple of lesbians around the room. Then, after that, she commands the twins to use the power to stop her force push. She's literally contradicting herself immediately. I mean, I know this chick is retarded in real life, but I didn't think they'd make her character just as stupid as she is.
Yes.
Mama Juju then says, "It ties you to your destiny." Be sure to remember that line because we're going to come back to that. So after this, Mama Juju meets with the twins in their room, and we get some more of that A-class dialogue.
"I don't want to do the Ascension, but that's how we become witches. I don't know if I want to be a witch."
What the hell did you just say?
This was just so stupid to me. So, we don't know what this Ascension is, but we know it's some kind of ritual that the girls need to do in order to become witches, and Osha doesn't want to do it. Mama Juju tells the girls that Ascension is about sacrificing a part of yourself for the power of the many instead of the power of the one. That idea is pretty much the running theme through this whole episode, and it's repeated a lot. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. They never really shut up about it. They just keep saying it all throughout. And then Mama Juju says the line, "The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us." In this scene, she's referring to being witches, but the subtext of lesbianism and people being homophobic is undeniable. Leslie Headland is a lesbian. She's been given the opportunity to create her own TV show and put anything she wants inside of it. And this TV show is a part of the Star Wars universe, the most famous franchise that's probably ever existed. She's even put her own wife in a prominent role inside of the show. But yeah, let's just keep playing the victim card. Lesbians are so oppressed in 2024. The girls get ready for the ritual, and we see May is all for it, but Osha still doesn't want to go through with it. And then we have the ritual scene. I think cringe is the only appropriate word here. They chant in front of this hole in the ground, which, by the way, doesn't have anything to do with anything. The hole's never really brought up. We don't know why it's there. We don't know what's down there. No details whatsoever. But they start chanting the power of one, the power of two, and the power of many. It's just so incredibly cringe, I think is the right word. This is probably what an average meeting looks like when the Disney executives get together, by the way. There was this funny thing, though. While the ritual's going on, at least 2 different points, there's some chick in the background that starts laughing. I mean, like a high-pitched cackle.
Unnatural. We were on the brink of extinction. And then
It came out of nowhere, and even though all of the women are standing close together, it sounds like it's coming way in the background, like way far off in the woods or something. It was just so out of place that I thought it was some crazy person that was trying to interrupt the ritual, and I even thought Mama Juju was going to address it, and there was going to be some kind of scene or something, but nope, nothing like that. So the girls join the ritual, and May takes a vow and gets a symbol on her head, but before Osha can say the vow, the Jedi show up. This is where things get really stupid. So, the Jedi don't seem to care about this ritual, or whatever it is, or whatever they're doing, or any dark magic that's going on whatsoever. They're only concerned whether or not there's children here, because apparently Osha and May are the only children on the whole planet. They find the girls, and Sol notices that the mark on May's forehead wasn't there when he was spying on them earlier that day. The women freak out, and they say that the Jedi want to take their children. Sol tells them that the Jedi don't take children, which is about to be immediately contradicted, but before that, the situation gets a bit hostile, and Sol grabs his lightsaber. Now, stick with me here, guys, okay? I promise you, I'm not making this up, by the way. Trinity, from The Matrix, tells Sol to basically stand down, but Sol didn't grab his lightsaber to use it. You see, he walks over to Osha and just hands it to her. He hands this killing laser sword, the equivalent to a gun, this incredibly dangerous weapon, to this little child and says, "You know, I think you'd make a good Jedi." I'm not making this up, hand on heart. And I lost it at this point. I thought the Jedi Soul was one of the better characters of the show, but my god, this was just so stupid. I couldn't stop laughing, man. Why would you hand her a lightsaber? Plus, the whole scene's so weird and creepy because the only reason the Jedi seem to be there is to take the kids away. So, in case you were wondering whether or not the witches were evil or not, Mama Juju, once again wielding the power of the Force, takes control of White Man Jedi, who at this moment is only a Padawan to Matrix Lady Jedi. She threatens the Jedis and tells them that if they want White Man Jedi to return to his right mind, then they need to leave. But Osha speaks up and tells her mom that she wants to take the Jedi test. Matrix Strong Woman Jedi tells Mama Juju, "You cannot deny that Jedi have the right to test potential Padawans." And then, after that, the camera switches back to Mama Juju, and Matrix Jedi then says, "With your permission, of course." So, they have the right, but they do still need the parents' permission then. I think this second line was added in post because nobody told Leslie Headland that the Jedi can't just abduct children against their parents' will. This fat-necked woman wants so badly to paint these cult lesbian witches as victims, and she's willing to villainize every single Jedi in this show. Hamburger Head hates Star Wars. There's no other explanation on why this could be so bad. She hates it. So, for some reason, Mama Juju agrees to allow the Jedi to test the twins, and so she lets White Man Jedi go. And the meeting's over. Well, real quick though, she just displayed, like, evil magic, didn't she? I mean, didn't she just use the Force in a way that the Sith would? Why don't the Jedi care about that? Don't know. Don't think about it, I guess. So the lesbian witches argue about what to do, and the two moms get in an argument, and basically female lesbian Darth Maul asks Mama Juju what she thinks will happen when the Jedi find out how the girls were created. So, did Mama Juju use the Force to give herself a cock or something? I mean, I don't know. It really is amazing to see what women can do with the Force these days, isn't it? They can use it to fly through the vacuum of space like Mary Poppins. They can heal the sick and the wounded by just touching them. They can teleport objects through matter itself. And now they can even use it to give themselves a pair of balls and impregnate other women. The Force is female, as they say, after all. Mama Juju tells her two daughters to lie whenever they take the tests. And Osha even promises May that she'll lie so they won't get separated. Well, she didn't, and she told the truth instead. And Osha even told Sol that she wanted to be a Jedi. Back at the lesbian Fortress of Solitude, Osha tells her moms that she told the truth and wants to be a Jedi, and not a witch. This pisses May off to no end, but then Mama Juju tells Osha that destiny isn't decided for you by an anonymous force. You get to make a choice. Remember that earlier scene when Mama Juju said that the thread, aka the Force, ties you to your destiny? So, it ties you to your destiny, but you still get to choose? Man, if only Hamburger Head wasn't directing this show, and we had someone who actually cared about all this stuff. You know, it might be kind of interesting to talk about the nature of destiny versus free will in a Star Wars show. Too bad they're not smart enough to even scratch the surface of topics like that, and are more concerned about giving the Force ovaries and a vagina. Don't worry guys, we still have one more stupid thing to go over before this episode comes to an end. So, Osha is getting ready to leave while she's in a room, and May shows up. They get in an argument, and Osha asks May how exactly she's going to keep her from leaving. And May tells her,
It's not up to you. You can't stop me. Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. So, May steals Osha's coloring book, locks her in a room, and then uses this candle thing outside the door to set the door and her room on fire. Then, about less than 5 minutes later, the entire fortress of Lesbian Solitude explodes. All the women are dead. May falls to her death, and the Jedi tell Osha that May killed everyone. Now, if you think that that's all hyperbole, then you can watch it yourself, but that is quite literally what happens. Now, I don't know what's really going on here. I don't know if that was really May or some evil lesbian magic controlling her. I don't know how one small little fire could blow up an entire fortress made of stone. Was it a gas leak? Did something else happen? Did the Jedi kill everyone and then just blame May for it? Seeing how much Leslie Headland hates Star Wars and wants to paint all the Jedi as evil, then that would make a lot of sense to me, that she would do that. I don't know. All I know is that this episode was boring and stupid. They rewrote once again what the Force is and what it can do. They painted every person in the episode as retarded and inconsistent. There was no action, and the dialogue scenes were stale and empty. There's subtle and sometimes blatant PC messaging in almost every scene. The characters are all unlikable, and we don't really learn anything new that we didn't already know from the previous 2 episodes, at least regarding the plot. Star Wars fans, they hate you. They hate you with all their guts. But those are just my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think. Did you watch the episode? And if so, what did you think about it? Do you think what they've done in this episode has fully killed Star Wars? Or do you think it's been dead for a long time now? Or did you like what they did? And if so, tell me why. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great freaking day.